So students, just a few words before we complete our syllabus regarding classical mechanics. Okay, few questions that you will be getting in your exams, which needs to be addressed. So it's better that you have these basic ideas before you sit for your exam. Now we have done quantum mechanics, we have done statistical mechanics or statistical physics. So we would be doing without actually not discussing very elaborately on classical physics, which actually comes as the first, which comes first in order, actually much before quantum mechanics, because all of us are working on, all of us have worked on Newton's laws of motion. And when we say classical mechanics, we basically mean applications of Newton's laws. But if we go a step forward, after, for example, leaving behind our school level knowledge, one observes, maybe even when you will do some specific calculations in certain fields, you will observe when you try to solve differential equations of which are a little more complex than the normal ones that we had observed or studied in Newtonian physics, then you will see that Newtonian physics has its own limitations. Okay, so what are the limitations of Newtonian mechanics? It's a very important question that needs to be addressed, because maybe you do not know that everything cannot be solved using the principles of Newtonian mechanics. It has its own limitations. So if we discuss the limitations, then you will observe that Newtonian mechanics, as point 1, if we discuss it, you will see Newtonian mechanics is actually applicable only in the inertial frame of reference. So putting it down in black and white, Newtonian mechanics is applicable in the inertial frame of reference. Now, by inertial frame of reference, we mean they are like Cartesian, like the frames of reference. What do we mean by inertial frame of reference? Okay, basically it means that these frames, they move with constant velocity, and well, there should not be any relative acceleration or accelerations in the while the inertial frames of reference, they move. Okay, so it should satisfy the laws of inertia. All right, it should move with constant velocity, and it is not applicable to frames of references which are non-inertial. Okay, so that comes as a first limitation. I don't know whether you knew it. So this comes as limitation number 1. All right, now for limitation number 2, you will see that there are many limitations in applying Newton's laws of motion or Newtonian mechanics to different kinds of systems. Number 1 is that the systems should be defined in frames of references which are inertial frames of references, by which we mean that they should move with constant velocities. Well, when we write the differential equation in a Newtonian mechanics, the symmetry of the system has to be kept in mind. Symmetry of the system while defining differential equations, have to be considered. Okay, so this is very important for when you work with Newton's laws of motion, because all systems, they might not be symmetrical. Okay, so for such systems then it becomes difficult to apply Newton's laws of motion. Well, the next limitation is, well, Newtonian formulation, if you just read it very carefully, you will see it is not invariant under all coordinate system. While when you transform from one coordinate system to another coordinate systems, the equations of motion keep on changing their forms. Let us take the Newtonian formulation is not invariant. It is not invariant under all coordinate systems. It is not invariant under all coordinate systems. Okay, so what do we mean by that? If we move from one coordinate system to another, for example, taking a Cartesian coordinate system, the equation of motion, Newton's second law, m d2x dt square is equal to the force Fx, isn't it? But if you take polar, this is in Cartesian coordinate system, if you consider a Cartesian coordinate system. Okay, but if you use a polar coordinate system, then what do you get? This is for Cartesian coordinate system. For polar coordinate system, what are the polar coordinates? R theta, isn't it? What you have then, the same equation you define in this manner. M d2r dt square is equal to m r d theta dt whole square. So here your coordinates are the polar coordinates. Here you are using polar coordinates. Okay, so what are the polar coordinates? The polar coordinates are r and theta. Okay, so you see here you are requiring two variables r and theta to define Fx. All right, so here the number of variables, the force is depending on two different coordinates or parameters. Okay, so there is a coupled dependency. Force is coupled with two parameters, and then solving such equations become cumbersome. They are not very easily done. Okay, number 4. Well, here in Newtonian formulation, when we need to solve the Newtonian equation, we need to completely specify all the parameters. A complete specification of all the forces which are acting on the body has to be fully considered if you have to solve the differential equation at all instants of time. Okay, so this becomes very difficult because there is actually, when a motion is constrained, that means when there are constraints acting on the system, then you cannot really specify all the forces or all the parameters directly. There is an indirect dependency. So for this complete specification, it becomes difficult when system has constrained motion. So this requires Newtonian mechanics require complete specification. of the forces, isn't it? And difficulty arises during constrained motion. Okay, difficulty arises during constrained motion. So this actually goes as a limitation to Newtonian laws of motion. Okay, because of this you cannot consider Newtonian formulation very easily. Well, a very important point is Newton's law. Newtonian mechanics involve vector quantities, acceleration, force. These are all vector quantities. So, well, the specification, complete specifications of vectors becomes very cumbersome when we define a differential equation. Involve vector quantities. Okay, so that becomes like force, momentum. They actually make the if you have to solve the problems, everything has to be written down vectorially. So applications of vectors in defining an equation becomes quite makes the equation quite cumbersome, and therefore in a nutshell, it becomes imperative that to make the solution or the differential equation more general, one has to get rid of the vector quantities, one has to describe the constrained motions absolutely without any problem. So the solutions and the equations and the solutions can be done in a direct manner. Okay, so if we can get rid of this, so the basic limitations in a nutshell is in Newtonian mechanics. In Newtonian mechanics, therefore, inertial frames okay, dependency on coordinates, difficulty in addressing constraints, okay, and vectors, difficulty in addressing constants and vectorial representation are the problems and the limitations which actually forces us to look for another system of representation. Okay, so this is a very important question, limitations of Newtonian mechanics, okay, which you have to understand and you have to put it down if asked. Okay, let's stop over here.